Chicago, PPAW, UMAP, PPA Midwest, and AZ-PPA. My name is Steve Trozen, Vice President of MIPA, and I'll be your host today, filling in for Paul. I'd like to remind everyone that at the end of today's webinar, you'll be directed to a survey form. If you include your information and your PPAI PIN number, we will submit this to PPAI so that you receive one CAS credit for attending today's webinar. On the left side of your screen, you'll see a chat box. If at any time during the webinar you'd like to ask a question or make a comment, you may type it in right there and we'll respond to it. Also, mark your calendars for next month's webinar on Wednesday, May 25th, when Bill Petrie from Brandivate will be presenting Creating Margin Through Mystery and Magic. It's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. Charles Duggan II, MAS Plus, has been active in the industry for more than 23 years. He served in many capacities, including the board of directors of PPAI, as the president of his regional association, PPAA Midwest, in a variety of roles. I don't know if you've ever considered running a marathon, 26.2 miles, but Charles has run marathons after riding a bike, 112 miles, and after swimming more than 2 miles. That sounds impossible to me, but I'll let Charles tell you more about that and why he believes that anything is possible. Take it away, Charles.
All right, Steve. Hey, thank you so much for the introduction. Thanks for everybody that's on the line. I really appreciate you taking the time out during your lunch today to learn more about anything possible. And as Steve had mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them during it. This presentation it's got a lot of information in it. I always like to let everybody know, use this whole presentation as a way to kind of refocus, reshift, re-gear your ideas on things. There's only a few things that you can actually put in place, so don't get bogged down if you hear like 2 things that you want to do right away. Tune me out and start working on those. So use this a way to motivate you to do something else. Today, again, we're going to go through a lot of data, a lot of information that should be able to help you take your sales to the next level. So as Steve mentioned a little bit about me, I am National and Strategic Accounts Manager for Gold Star Pens. I've been on the board on both sides, so thanks for participating in this, as well as joining taking part in all of your regional activities as part of your regional membership. I participated in 17, 18 marathons and 6 Ironman and half. I got a half coming up in a month with my son out in Hawaii, so really looking forward to that. But there's a lot of similarities between doing an Ironman and being a high performer salesperson. We're going to go over those today, but as we step back, as I like to say, to it all, it's going to seem to you very simple, but there are certain things that you could be doing on a day in, day out basis that can not only drive your sales, but drive your motivation. So with that, you learn from it. So what's everybody? Oh, the Powerball. If it hits over 200 million, I'm in. I like the slogan from the lotteries that's saying, if you don't play, you don't win. Kind of the same thing as in sales. If you don't come to if you don't make presentations, if you don't get out there, you're never going to get the sales. So I always make that correlation. Haven't hit the Powerball yet, but I know one thing is for sure. I am still going to do what I'm doing now. If I hit the Powerball, just going to have a little more time to do different things. So with that, we're in for it. So what are you going to learn today? Define really what do you really want? I think that's where a lot of people struggle. We'll explore why your sales and might be out of shape. It's kind of an interesting way of looking at it. And then the other thing is you'll be able to create a plan to get back into the game. And we're going to definitely provide some simple, basic tools for you to keep on track. And again, like an Ironman or training for anything, it's something you do. It's the journey of it all. It's something that you do on a day-to-day basis. It's not one magic fix. Training training in sales is something that you do day and day over and over. And that's something that when you actually get ready for the event, that you'll be able to succeed and have fun with it. So with that, we're going to get going. I'm going to switch it over, and this, a couple things you might not know, or you might know about me is that I definitely love, listening to different things. So see if you can see the video on this. Can 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 you guys see anything on this? All right, hold on. All right. So on here, hold on. I heard the video. Oh, here we go. Try this, guys. All right, guys. That's one of those. That's one of those presentations that I really have. I really get a kick out of. And same thing with you guys too. You have to decide what makes you laugh. And as we pull back I'm trying to pull back the presentation. So I don't know if Paul, if you're right there, share slide. I'm working on the pulling back the presentation as we get to it here in just a second. All right, so bear with us 2 seconds. I knew I would throw a little wrench in everything. Open presentation. Let's see. Okay, there we are. We're back at it. All right. Now, so, Cookie Monster is one of those that, a lot of times we're so impatient on things. But really, when you get to it, you have to decide what do you really want. We spend most of our time, as I like this slide. We spend a lot of time looking in the rearview mirror, saying, "Okay, hey, I've done it this way. I've always done it that way." But really, in life and as in sales, you have to look through the front, not always in the back. You learn from things in the back, but every day is new, and every day that you go forward is something that definitely you can do whatever you want. So that's why I was like the presentation's named "Anything's Possible" because it is. What do you really want? But here's the problem: half the people in here don't really know what they want. So if you're one of those that are online that haven't really decided, and it could be and we're going to get into a slide a little bit, whether if it's in your work, your personal or family. But what do you really want? So let's talk about, are you out of shape? So 1 in 25 companies will last 25 years. 4 out of 5 businesses will fail in 2 years. 95% of all companies will never reach $1 million in sales annually. So what part of the group are you looking to be in? So first of all, you have to decide really what you want. So think about this. Let's give an example of, okay, from the sales side, I want to sell $1 million. Do as this guy, John Goddard. When you get back, everybody write this down, Google him, take a look. His thing is to dares to do and to fears to fail. He's the one that started the whole lists. And you have to make your list of exactly what you want. He had a list of over 400 things, and then he checked them off as he accomplished them all. But his whole philosophy is if you don't ever write it down, you'll never know. So again, as we look at some of this, you might think this is so basic, but really, do you have a list of exactly what you want right in front of you right now? Or do you wake up the day like most people and just start the day in neutral and let things decide or everything else do that? So Google John Goddard and take a look at his life list. Pretty crazy when you think about it. So and do this in all aspects of your life. So for work, personal, family, volunteering, there's a lot of different things that you can do. So we had somebody that asked, okay, I want to make $1 million, or I want to sell over $1 million. Okay, so basically, here's what you're going to have to do to sell $1 million. 72% of your revenue is going to come from promotional product sales. So then you got to realize that 28% is in other things. You're going to pay your vendors on 31 to 45 days. You're going to acquire 187 new clients per year, and you work with over 922 clients total. Think of this, that's some pretty staggering numbers. Think of how many clients that you call on, how many prospects you have in the pipeline. These are some of the things that we're going to get into today. And let's take a look at this next slide. This one is compliments of the promotion coach. But okay, so goal is to sell $1 million. Here's what it looks like when you're selling $1 million to small size companies. Your prospects are 3,066, and you have 680 buyers. For a medium-sized company, it's 444. You have 76 buyers. And for a large company, you have 136 prospects, 16 buyers. So this is something, it takes more effort to sell $1 million to small companies than it does large ones. So this is something really when you're looking at, okay, well, what do I really want, or what do I really want to do? Think of the type of companies that you're calling on. Think of the opportunities that each one provides, that can provide for you in reference to their budget and promotional products, and then take a look and kind of work backwards. So our next one is, all right, so what does it look like for medium distributorship? So 89.6 of you get your business by referrals. This is something, so almost all your business comes from referrals. So it's interesting when you ask around how many of you on the line, let's throw it out to everybody on the line. How many of you have an actual referral plan in place, a program in place? Most of the distributors that I talk to and ask don't have that. They don't have a referral place, but then that's where most of your business comes. So when you think about it, that is something that you could write down, of something that you could help set up is a referral. We're going to get into that a little bit later on. The other thing is repeat clients. So 76% of your business comes from repeat clients. Something that it's extremely important to is to follow up. And we'll get into that a little bit later on that. And then on average, you deal with 177 clients. So, and then look at a small distributorship under 250,000 in sales. Average order $622. 40% of things are done in-house. You get paid in under 30 days. You acquire about 19 new clients a year. And you have about 13 people working for you in the office. So kind of a little bit different, interesting way when you look at it on how it all stacks up. So a lot of times, are you your worst enemy? And it's so interesting with what you say to yourself and your self-talk and everything and what you think about. are things that are going to come true. And most people have a lot of negative bandwidth, as I like to call it, that shoot down lots of different things, lots of different ideas before it even gets started. So when you're looking at that, take a look. Are the threats coming from within? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I'll just keep on doing it the same way? It's worked. It's gotten me to where I am. I already know it all because I've been doing it for years now. I've heard that so many times. Or from a supplier side, I think most of you on the phone are distributors or online are distributors. I have so many people come up to me, oh, I know so much about your line, which is really interesting because we are constantly changing and doing some great stuff. So, and then last is, hey, there's nothing new out there. So don't get hooked on negative, unproductive self-talk. There's always a better way. And I think that you guys are showing that on the phone, that there's always a better way of learning and improving. So time wasters, let's get into that. What are your time wasters? This is something that you really want to look at. It could be anything from to a cluttered office to a time wasters. I think for a lot of distributors are, is your email box. When you look at that, there's a lot of things that take up your time. So write down maybe 2 or 3 things that are wasting your time, and then do something about it. So here's my suggestion on emails and different supplier emails and just in general. If you don't have a plan to either forward it, do something with it, unsubscribe from it. So that's something I went through this exercise about 6 months ago, and I went every email that I would get if I didn't have anything into it or I had signed up one time, I just deleted it. And let me tell you something, you don't believe how much time that frees up for you to do other things. So that's just one of those ones from the time waster spot. But what's your time waster? I'll throw it out to you guys. Think of what really stops you from succeeding and doing what you really want to do. The other thing is develop a plan. How are you going to get there? It's so interesting that the majority of people out there, again, start the day neutral and then shift it, depends on what's coming in. We're in a reactive world, and we wait for that person to call in. We wait for that email request to say, hey, I'd like to get 150 pens for this or that, or I'd like to get some trade show apparel, you name it, whatever it is. We're really reactive. So things I want you to think about are what can I do to be proactive? And I always like to put the plans up because I don't know if you've ever seen a house being built, but if a house was built without a plan, let me tell you something, it would be awful. I don't think they would get it all done because there's so many different parts to it all. So what's your plan and how are you going to get there? So this is something that's really important as well too is, all right, you have to, as you write this down on what's your plan, write a 30, 60, 90-day plan. So, okay, what are you going to do in the next 30 days? So over the next 30 days of emails that come in, I'm going to unsubscribe from the ones I'm not doing anything with that are taking my time. Or, one of your goals could be is I'm going to reach out to 10 new people or 10 past people that I really haven't kept up with. There's lots of different things, but you have to come up with 3 compelling goals that you're absolutely ready to take action on. Again, as I mentioned before, a lot of this information, you might say, I already know it. Well, you might, but it's one of those that a lot of people don't really take advantage of it, and they don't do it. So come up with a 30, 60, 90-day plan, write it down, come up with different things that you're going to do in that price point or in the scope of what you want to do. So most people come to me and say, all right, how can I get more sales? That's the pretty much gist of it. Well, when you boil it down to it, there's only 3 ways to get more sales. You get more clients, and you get more clients to buy more, and you get more clients to buy more frequently. That is the only way to do it. So how are you getting more clients? 38% get more clients by cold calling. 36% do it networking. 21% do it via the internet with connecting on the different platforms out there. 17.6% use direct mail. So there's a lot of different ways of getting more clients. Now, the other thing is, how are you getting clients to buy more? Well, a great way to do that is an upsell. So say you get an order for caps, mugs, wearables. You can say, hey, by the way, do you know that we have these available? Or this is on special now. So again, a great way for you to add that to that. We're sales, so the nature of the beast is to get the order and to get the hell out before they change their mind. This is something that definitely add on every call, every sale you make. You need to say, what else can I do, and what else can I get on that? And let's go. Okay, so how to land the big accounts. This is a real interesting statistic of just data. How to attract a bigger account. Well, one thing is you got to decide what type of client you want to go after. It's so funny because 48% give up after one rejection. 20% of the people try twice. 7% of the people try 3 times. 5% of the people will try 4 times. But the best salesman never hears no. They don't hear no. They just hear, you haven't convinced me yet. So think about that. Put in a plan to keep in touch with people on a regular basis. And it could be even a weekly tickler that, hey, I'm going to call them up, or I'm going to send them an email or send them a note. So that's one of those things that you could put on your plan. But again, don't give up, and then assemble a great team. And from a distributor to from a supplier standpoint, we'll get into that in just a little bit in reference to partnering up with different types of people within the supplier teams that can really help you be extremely successful. So let's take a look at the next one. So 4 ways to get top accounts to stay around. This is so interesting because I've heard a lot of reason why clients switch from one to another, not necessarily about price. It's because I haven't heard from them in a while. So it is so important for you to stick around. So you need to not only be around, but you need to service them like crazy. And then we're going to get into a little bit later about more specific ideas, but offer ideas on a regular basis. What are you working on? Are you part of their marketing meetings to help strategize from a bigger perspective and how promotional products can play a great part in accomplishing their goals? Lots of different things that you can do with that, but then it's one to, again, be around and stick with it. So this is something that a lot of people don't really even think about, and I want you to think about it. So what kind of clients do you want? Or let's back it up and say, all right, what does my best client look like? Think of all your different accounts that you call on and accounts that you really like doing business. What is it? Is it the one that gives you the order right away? Or is it the one you can have an open dialogue and an open conversation with? What's important? What's important to them? Or what's important to you? So I'll throw that out. What does your best client look like? If you have a good idea of what that looks like, then you're able to go in and find out how you can get other clients of similar thoughts and the way you do business with. Because I definitely know, we know the clients that we don't like doing business with. We definitely know those. But flip it around and find the clients that you want to do business with and how you can help attract more of those. Cold calling. This is one that I always, there's cold calling. People call it warm calling. You can look up things on LinkedIn or other things, so you can be a little bit more familiar about the type of client that you're calling on or the people that you're dealing with. But people, it's a numbers game too. So as the slide that we had about 5 previous, talking about the number of times you have, the number of prospects that you have to the active buyers, that's so important that you got to keep prospecting. You got to keep it in. You got to keep on calling on people. And it could be as simple as something, taking that extra step is on Fridays, instead of just kind of taking a half day or really cutting out early, what can I do today to go out and make that, or just to make a stop in and say, hey, by the way, I think we have some things that we might be able to help you with. So again, cold calling is something that a lot of people don't really do anymore. They think I'm past that point, but definitely it's a numbers game. So you never really know when something will hit, or when somebody else isn't paying attention to a customer, and you just fall into the right. Timing is very important too. So when you're looking at stuff, look at look at different ways to grow your business. So different products to pitch. Have you been promoting the same types of products out there over the last, let's say, year or 2 years? I know from a distributor standpoint, we fall into a habit of just always presenting the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's kind of interesting to get in, pitch different items, pitch different things that could really that could really make a difference, rather than getting pigeonholed into exactly what we've been doing forever and ever. So kind of mix it up a little bit. I think that's one of those things that you can really do differently, because it's about the winning combination of putting the right product in the right hands at the right time. So from a client's perspective, they don't really know what they want because they don't know it's available. So that's your job, is to get in there and find out different things and what I can do to really help, and what I can do to make things really go well. So when you're looking at it, what's your strategy to connect? And what I mean connect is from a mobile standpoint. What are you doing differently to look at it? I checked in. Well, actually, I got a text first time from the Hampton Inn. I was going to that night. They sent a text saying, "Hey, this is our VIP text program. What do you? Is there anything we can do for you to make your arrival more pleasant, or whatever?" So I sent them a note saying, "Hey, I'd like a 6-pack of beer and a pizza." No, just kidding. That's what I told them when I checked in. But I really appreciated getting that text. So do you have a program in place to be able to maybe capture some of your clients' emails? Not only emails, but texting. So I hear somebody that might be having trouble with the audio going in and out. I'm not certain exactly what that is. It potentially could be my connection. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. And let me tell you something. It rained like crazy. Storms blew through yesterday, so it might be that. So I'll keep on rolling with that. All right. So new direction. I love this slide, and I love this picture, because for so many years we have been integrated with the cap, the gas cap. Now you might think about who came up with that idea of saying, okay, today we're going to take the cap off, or why wasn't that thought before, or why do we always have a cap on to begin with? So this is a way that just looking at your world a little differently. And do you need a cap? Do you need all the different things that you're doing out there? There's lots of different ways to kind of take a look at things differently, and that's something I want you to do too. So, all right, one a day. Every day, do this. This is something, again, compliments of the promotion coach. But set up a meeting to discuss a business opportunity every day. So when you do it every day, here's what you have. And you can do it in person, on the phone, by the mail, by email, by a text, lots of different things. But there are 241 selling days per year. And really, when you're looking at it, it's all about getting in front of the client to make presentations and what you close and how much you close per what you're offering. So again, if your sights are set on saying, hey, I want to take my sales to the next level, this is definitely something that you need to do to take advantage of that. So, all right, how do we differentiate from the competition? And then how will you communicate not only now, but in the future? The next slide that I'm going to show you is something that I found was very interesting in reference to the mobile world. Everybody, and you'll see this next slide, it's by the Pew Research, and it shows you how different basically age groups communicate. So, if you look at the 18 to 29, text messaging is their number one. Number two is the internet. The video voice call is 93%. Email is 91%. videos are 75, music is 64. But then look at the age demographic where you're calling on. Are you using the right ways to communicate with them? So let's give you an idea. So 50 plus, you're basically most of the time, you're texting. The internet use is, not 80%. Voice calls and video calls is up, so 94%. So maybe that's a way to find different platforms. Email's a little bit less. But again, how people use the phone is very important. And getting back to what we talked about a little bit earlier is in reference to, how we're building our prospect and clients database. But do we have their phones? Do we have their cell phones? Are we communicating with them on a regular basis? Or have you done a survey to your clients and asked them, hey, what's your best way that you want to communicate? It's so funny. Some people want to call. They want you to pick up the phone and call them. Great. So you write that, you mark them down as, okay, then if anything comes up or anything, I'm calling them. Some people like emails only. I deal with people that I never talk to them on the phone. I deal with them emails only. And then I have others that like a text. That's all they want is the text. So think of your clients, think of different things in place. Maybe it's again, setting up a campaign on, okay, how would you like for me to communicate with you? That might be one of the ones that you're going to work on. So take a look at that. Now we're getting to the fun part. And this is the part that I like more than anything else, and it's planning ideas. Because nothing really happens until an idea is planted and a sale is made. So what are we doing to help plant ideas? I think of trees and how they start as a seed, and then you got to water them. Or if any of you have gardens out there, you start with seeds and then you water them. You have to water them. So I look at planting seeds as giving your clients ideas on a regular basis. So do you have something set up that you do on a regular basis that you keep on feeding ideas to your client rather than them coming to you saying, oh, by the way, I have a trade show coming up next month. What do you have? So we're going to look at some specific things. These are things that can impact your bottom line right now. So what tools are available? Since most of you on the line are distributors, here are 4 programs or 4 tools that I think are so important. Spec samples, I'll put in the whole thing of virtual samples as well. Not only random samples, turnkey programs. There's a lot of those out there in reference to not only that, but turnkey websites that you can really connect your clients with, and then special pricing. So these are all different things we're going to talk to you about in just a little bit. And as we go forward, I really want you to think about this. Spec sample sell. All right, so the average in the industry is 76, I think, to 82% of all specs that are produced sell. And so I'll ask the question to you distributors that are on the call, why aren't you doing it on a regular basis? And why don't you have a day set up? Like a good day could be Fridays. Fridays, most people are planning what they're doing over the weekend. Successful salespeople are planning, okay, here's I'm taking 3 hours. Here are the specs I'm going to have done for my top clients and my top prospects. Something as simple as that to get them in works, because it's something that you got to be feeding it constantly. It's kind of like it's the watering of the seeds to be able to get the ideas to explode and to be able to get sales and the plants to grow. So when you're thinking about that on a regular basis, you got to be feeding them. And I don't know about you, but the suppliers that I've talked to out there are waiting for this. They're waiting for you to take advantage of it. There's so many people that haven't taken advantage of things, and I find it so crazy. It's why not? Most people say, well, I don't have the time. Well, it's interesting. Everybody has the same amount of time. What's going to differentiate yourself from the next person is that people set up time to do specific things, and spec samples are definitely one. I've heard that most, any large order has come as a result of a spec sample. So have you ever done a large order, let's say over $5,000, $10,000 without getting an actual spec of what it looks like? Think about that. So that's something that you definitely need to continue to plant and have that out there. I got my largest order ever from a spec sample that was on that client's desk for 2.5 years. Kind of crazy. And it was over $1 million sale. So that is something that definitely over time, they work for you. So I'm harping on this because from a supplier standpoint, I think distributors don't do a good enough job with taking advantage of it. So this was something I pulled off some information is how do you find ways to expand your business? So this was from and this was from 2011. I think it's still fitting today, but 42% asked their clients about upcoming promotion and events for their promotional needs. Kind of interesting. I mean, that you would think that would be something you'd ask on a regular basis. 21% asked for referrals from other departments. With a specific client, do you only work in one department or the other? This is something that ask for the referral, or it gets back to the slides earlier talking about, where's your business coming from? Referrals. So definitely take advantage of that. Showcase new supplier products. That's 16%. I found this was interesting because it shows everybody comes up to me and always says, what's new? Which it seemed like our whole industry is geared toward that, whether it's what's new at the beginning of the year, or what's new mid-year, what's the new mid-year launch? Well, if your client hasn't seen any of the other products anyway, it doesn't matter. It's like everything's new. So that's something. Showcase ideas that you've used with other clients. This is so important right here that you show what you're doing with other clients. It really gives you a great idea, gives them a good feeling that, okay, hey, if they're doing this for them, then they can do it for me as well and be successful. So that's something to take advantage of. All right, bonus. This is the bonus. Ding, 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 ding. This is the bonus. I got a couple different bonuses in here, but this is one. All right, so this was the greatest idea I saw from a distributor out there, and it was in reference to doing a trade show. Had a Ziploc bag, pulled it out, put the catalog, put the product that I was talking to him about, put my business card in there, and Ziplocked it up. And I asked him, I said, boy, that's a great idea. How do you? And he goes, this makes it so easy when I get back to the office to be able to have everything right together and has everything right there. So that's one of those that I definitely think you should do on your next trade show coming up. Around the country, make sure you bring your Ziploc bags and Ziploc it. It'll save you time. And as people say, time is money. So Ziploc your idea. All right. So now we're getting into the referral side. So word of mouth is the primary way that people get information about their products and services. So how do you expand from the referral side? How do you get people to get a referral? And this is the question you need to write down, because this is so important, because most people want to help. If you ask them, for the most part, they want to try to help you, but they don't really know what. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, you have, you just sold me some pens or shirts or mugs or whatever. But a lot of people don't really understand our whole world and what we can do and what we can accomplish. So this is what you need to say is, I'm expanding my business and need your help. Who do you know that is looking for ways to increase sales reps call rate out in the field? You need to ask this. Who do you know who has an upcoming trade show? Who do you know is looking for or is interested in the environment and coming up with environmental products? Or who do you know that must have USA made products? So it's, again, giving the questions and asking them so they can flip through their Rolodex and find out, okay, I want to be able to help that person. And so you help them give tools that you're able to connect the referral to and everything. So make it easier to people understand what we do. I think that's half the battle. And then what they'll do is sort through their contacts, think of you, and then you'll get a referral out of it. So one of those that you definitely have to take advantage of and ask the question. So, and then partnering with others is leverage, and leverage is knowledge. And so what I want you guys to be able to do is think of your core supplier group as real partners in this, not just, hey, they're here to sell me a XYZ product or whatever. There are key people within the sales, not only just the actual sales rep, but I mean, his goal is to increase your sales, to assist you at the factory, make you aware of specials and set up programs. That's just the outside salesperson. Now you can do the same thing with the inside salesperson as well too. And again, there are different levels. You need to have a good relationship with them. And another bonus that I'm going to throw out here. It's not on the slide, but you know what? Use your promotional products. Use your self promotions in a good way. Send them to suppliers too. A lot of people. I ran into a guy last week that said, "Oh, I still have tons of self promotions out there from a couple years ago." Well, I looked at him and I said, "You know what? Self promotions are doing you no good in the box in the closet or in the file cabinet or whatever. Get those products out there and get them to work for you. Those are your silent salespeople." So, a suggestion for you is take a look at some of your items, put together a little care package for not only maybe your outside rep, but as well as the inside customer service rep. You wouldn't believe how far that'll go for you out there in general. First of all, as a supplier, I get very few things at all, and have over my 23 years. I could tell you exactly who's giving me what, and let me tell you something. If they need anything, I'm here to help them, and I will go not only up and beyond, but I will help them out in ways you won't believe. So the other thing is where to get your special pricing. Interesting crash courses. I always like to say negotiate like a Mexican minute. This was a picture they took, and it was it was down in Mexico over spring break, and it's kind of like it's the crash course in negotiation. And I always like to say, if you don't ask for it, you'll never get it. So whatever price you start out with, or whatever price he says, you got to always cut it in half. So I challenge you guys to reach out to your suppliers and say the same thing. Hey, what else can you help me with? Or is there any other specials that are going on? Or what does that look like? I guarantee you'll come back with some great news. A lot of times as a supplier, we do have ways to be able to help you out. So definitely take advantage of that and ask. That's half the battle there. So another bonus, this is the bonus side of the whole thing is add this line to all your orders going forward. And I know it might take an extra minute or extra second or somehow to put this memo line in a memo part of the order or whatever, but please make up other items that are complementary to the item above. I have mentioned this to multiple distributors over the years, and each one came back to me and said, you know what, I tried that. You wouldn't believe all the different things that they were able to help me with. And most of the time it's at no charge. Now I know other items like wearables are more expensive items. You might have to pay for the product, but again, what's part of your plan of putting new product in front of your existing clients? Definitely take advantage of this and send this in, try it out. I'd love to hear back from you down the line on this. I guarantee it'll work for you. As I mentioned before, how do you say thank you? There's so many different ways. Again, you have to reach out, and you definitely have to say it in a number of different ways. And remember, from us suppliers, when you reach out and say thank you to us, it just makes a world of difference. And people go to bat for people that are appreciative of a partnership and leveraging. So definitely take advantage of that. And as we start getting ready as we're wrapping this up, you got to get your team together, and then you got to go for it. And so recapping on all the different things that we talked about today. One is, what's your 30, 60, 90-day goals? That's so important. And I'll even back it up to, okay, what do you really want? That's something I think is so important. And as we put everything together, success can come in so many different ways. But when you look at it, when you put everything together, there's lots of different things that can help you get there. Again, being on the session today will definitely help put some ideas in place, put some ideas where you can be able to make some things happen, and again, create your teamwork. And then bottom line is, watch your sales grow. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being on the webinar today. And in addition to that, if you're listening to this later, let us know if there's any other questions that are out there. Feel free to ask them now, and I can stay around as long as you want. Or if you want to connect with me after the fact, I'm more than happy to help you out. So with that, again, I'm appreciative of your time. And Steve, do we have any?
Yeah, Charles, thank you for the great presentation. And once again, if you have any questions for Charles, you can enter them into the chat box now. I'd like to remind everyone that you can receive, 1 CAS credit for today's webinar when you complete the survey as you leave today.
Also, make sure we like all fives. We like all fives are all outstanding. That's what I like. No, put what you think. That's all important.
Also, make sure you mark your calendar for our May Wild Wednesday webinar featuring Bill Petrie from Brand of 8 as he presents Creating Margin Through Magic and Mystery. And I'm sure he'll have some real actionable ideas for you too. That's Wednesday, May 25th. Once again, thank you to everyone for attending today. We'll see you next month.
All right, everybody. Take care. Have a good one.